Please, blue button.
Bye.
And
No,
bye.
it's dreamed. Yeah, okay. Not yet.
But now, bye. See
Bye
you. See you
now.
in the 40 minutes. See ya.
Not yet.
Yeah. Please, guys, blue button. Maybe there's something wrong.
Yeah, I did not receive the invitation.
Friends. Let me know again. I don't know, but I need to be in the other room, I think. How can I can? Okay. I need to delete the room. So guys. Oh my God. I was in the wrong room, I think. So yeah, I think. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. But I need to create the rooms again. I make something wrong here. But it will work. Please. Let's do it again. Breakout rooms, 2 rooms. But yeah. Yeah, current configuration, but I think now it will work. I hope. Oh my gosh. Guys, sorry for the delay, but I don't know what is happening.
Do you delete the room, one room?
Yeah, but I was in the wrong room. I need to stay in the room number 1, I think.
The number doesn't matter. You exclude the room you stay. Because if you exclude the other room, the persons in the other room stay here. Understand?
Yeah, maybe this is the problem. Let's do it again.
Okay.
Yeah, now it's work. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, it's work now. Great. So guys, I'm so sorry for the delay, but
No problem.
oh, so let's start. I don't know you, Claudia. Could you introduce
Claudia.
yourself? I don't know if okay, because of the name, it's a little strange here.
Now,
Could you introduce yourself?
After I go try change my name, Claudia.
I can do it, I think. Where are you from?
So I'm from Belo Horizonte, state of Minas Gerais. I live in the Belo Horizonte, né? And I work as a lab technician. I work in a big foundation in my city, in a health area. I appreciate a lot my job because I can help many people through my job. I'm divorced. I have one daughter, beautiful daughter, and I have 6 pets, dogs, 6 dogs. I love pets. And to me, it's a pleasure to stay here today with you all to practice my English. I love studying English.
Great, great. Welcome. I think we didn't have another experience together. I think I don't remember, but it's a pleasure to
Yes,
be with you.
I participate many times in the TNT. I'm old in TNT, but I stay out the meetings for a long time. But now I back and will stay with you all
Great,
again.
great, great. How about you, Breno? Could you introduce yourself? Good morning, sorry.
Good
And
morning,
let's
no
do it
problem.
again.
Sure. So I'm Breno. I'm 30 years old. I'm from São Luís, actually countryside Maranhão, but I spent a lot of time in São Luís, where I studied. I graduate advertising. So today I work with photography and video and media in general. And I'm currently living in Canada, and I've been studying English for about 4 to 5 years, something like that. And I just found TNT randomly on YouTube a few months ago when I was trying to preparing myself to do the IELTS test. The IELTS test was on July, the last July, and it was great. I expected to score more, but it was okay. I could achieve my accomplishment with the IELTS. And about me, I'm married. I have no kids for now. And yeah, I think that's it for me. I consider myself a really goofy person. I'm random sometimes. So yeah, that's me. I like to meet new people, and especially people that are older than me, so I can learn from them. And yeah, I have no many friends today, but I have a good friend in Brazil, and yeah, a few friends. But yeah, that's it.
Great, great. Welcome
Few
aboard.
friends, but good friends. That's enough.
Yeah, that's the best thing that we have. So it's important, most important thing. So guys, today we're gonna talk about reading books and things like that. So I put the questions in the chat, and let's start for the number one. What's the first book you ever remember reading? Breno, please. You're muted.
Sorry. The first book I read that I can remember now is called Irmão Negro. I read that book in Brazil when I was in the high school. It's written by Valci Carrasco. So at the time I was like 8 to 10 years old. And I think that was my first book I ever read, but I'm not sure about that. But this it's just the book that comes to my mind now. It was a good book. I remember the cover, it's really it highlights a lot. You'll never forget the cover of some books, even if you forget the content, but sometimes the cover you always remember.
I totally agree. And the cover is the most important. It's maybe the most important thing. So it's very important. How about you, Claudia? Do you remember?
Oh, I love to read. I remember I always read every time, all the time. And I started reading the comics when I was a child. But the first book I remember, it is called Reinações de Narizinho, Monteiro Lobato. When I was in a school, terceiro ano, terceira série, school. My first book, Renações no Narizinho.
Great book. Great book. I was thinking here, and I think the first book that I read was The Obedience Truck, A Droga da Obediência, but it was a long time ago. Maybe I was 10, 11 years old, but I hated. I I didn't like to read, not at all. And this first book that I tried to read, it was horrible for me. I couldn't finish the book, so it was not a good experience. But nowadays I really like to read. I have better experience, but in the past it was hard. It was hard for me to read. Hard. But nowadays I really like, as like you, Claudia, I read almost every single day. I try to read at least a little bit, so I consider that it's important to ourselves to grow. So yeah, but this is the first book that I remember to read. But
It's important to read. When we in school, sometimes I think the people don't like read because the teacher like obligation.
yeah,
The
exactly.
title the book, you can't choose the book to read. The teacher gives a book and read, study, because you do the test about the book. I think it's the obligation. It is not good for some students. If you don't like read and the teacher obligate you read, it is terrible. In my case, it is no problem because I love read. I read all things. To me, it's no problem. But I think that if the person don't like, it's terrible.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, because when we are in the school, normally it's mandatory. You
Yeah.
you have to read this book, because, and I think it's not good thing,
Yeah.
because I've come to read, so I started to hate. But after I could choose my books, the books that I really like, and then I like to read. But in the school it was
Yeah.
horrible
It is
because of
better
the
if
mandatory.
the teacher work the the developing the taste for the read books. No, like you says, mandatory, but
Mm,
né,
exactly.
try do the student appreciate the create habits to read. It is more important.
Yeah, totally. And is it cold there, Breno?
Yeah, it's 2 degrees, I think.
Yeah. Do you like to read or
Uh,
not?
to be honest, not. I'm more like documentary and movies kind of guy, you know. Recently, I discovered podcasts, so I'm enjoying podcasts a lot since few years ago. But yeah, but I know that reading is important because it can unlock some areas on our brain that you normally doesn't when you are just watching movies or, you know, or listening to podcasts. Because I think reading maybe can, you know, it's different because you are always remember some words that you sometimes you forget how is it spelled, especially if you are reading in another language. So recently I'm trying to get back to reading, in English, for example. And yeah, I've tried to do it more, but in my daily life, I would say that I don't have this habit, yeah. And in my whole life, in 30 years, I would say that I read just 50 or 60 books in life, you know. And I know that some people do that in a year or 2 years, you know. But in my whole life was like that. I cannot remember each one, but there are some books that I can remember. But yes,
Great.
but I like
Great.
it. It's good. But I'm trying to just finish. I'm trying to read small books and starting slowly and then getting used to it, because I think it's as you said, if you obligate yourself, if you pressure yourself, so it's not gonna be fun.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's like to work out, to do exercise. So if it's not easy for you and you want to start, maybe easy books and a few pages, maybe it's better, I think. But we're talking here about, oh, for example, I hated to read on the school because it was mandatory for me, and you said that you don't used to read. In Brazil, it's not common to read a lot of books, so it's more common don't read. What do you think about this? And what is your point about the people who don't like to read? And from your perspective, for example, why do you think it's not good or you don't like to read or things like that? What's your opinion about this point?
I was talking to a friend few months ago about exactly the same subject, and it's interesting to see that he gave me new perspective and information that I didn't have at the time, just because I don't read too much, you know. And then he just told me that the average, in general, when you are living in different continents, they are more propitious to the code. For example, you can, you know, you are more propitious to read more and do jobs that are not, you know, jobs and tasks that it's not outside, for example, because you are code, you stay quiet at home, and so you can do small tasks like reading, you know. So it's just a point of view. It's not, I cannot affirm that it's a study from some university or something like that, but it's interesting because I've heard that the climate circumstances could influence people, you know, or not. Because, for example, in tropical weather, it's not too much propitious. You just want to have fun, to go to the beach, you know, or yeah, or just trying to, yeah. For example, I'd say, getting back to the point of the question, I would say that people in Brazil don't read too much because they are trying to get the basic tools for surviving, you know. They're too much busy with the bills, with the work and other things that they don't. I'm talking about the average person, you know. I know that there are some people, some persons that they read a lot, they are intelligent and smart, but the average, the majority of people, they are, you know, just trying to survive, just trying to work and get more time to spend with the family. Yeah, and that's sad because I wish I could have more, you know, the opportunity to have a great time, you know, but yeah, it's hard.
I really appreciate your perspective. I really appreciate, because I didn't thought about this point in a specific, for example, about the weather. For example, yeah, I feel more comfortable when it's cold to read and to listen to a blues and things like that, to be more calm and interesting,
There's that
really
song,
interesting.
dia frio, bom lugar para ler livro. Did you
Yeah.
remember that? So that makes totally sense.
Yeah.
Exactly. Good point and good perspective about the context, about the environment. Uh, as you said, in general, the people are very busy and running all day, working all day, because it's not easy to live. So maybe my perspective, okay, a lot of people don't consider important to read because you are stopped maybe and just reading, and maybe it's you are not doing an important thing. It's like, oh, you should to, I don't know, but
They
wash
think that's
dishes
not
and
productive. Yeah, they think
yeah,
that's not productive.
exactly that.
They think
And
that it's a waste of time because they should do in another thing. I got your point. You're right.
exactly this is my perspective. And is in specific here because a lot of people need to work all day, every single day, and the to have a busy life is the common. We don't have time to just to relax, to breathe. And nowadays I feel more, I don't know, sad, but I change my perspective when I'm just in relaxing, because in my mind I'm thinking, oh, I should to do something. I don't need, I I don't, I forgot the word, but I'm not able to be here just relaxing. I need to do something. I should do something. I need to use better my time. So it's very, very sad, I think. Very sad. Good perspective. I really appreciate your perspective. And you, Claudia, what do you think about this subject?
Yeah, the interesting point you all says about, and I think it's like that too, because when you stop to read a book, in this moment you're relaxing, keep calm, and viage. But nowadays the people don't have time to that, like you says, né? The life today is so busy, work a lot and no stop, and you see the book, but you think I go waste time, no spend time, but it's a bad moment. You waste time if you get a book and you read, and I think like that. And the price, the book is expensive too, very expensive, né? People don't have money to buy books. Like me, in my childhood, I always like to read a lot, but I can't pay for the book. So to me, is it is the better when I go to school. In my school, there is a library, a beautiful, to me, beautiful library. So I'm encountered in all the books, but I never can pay for it. So I think it is an important point too, because expensive, so expensive, né?
Yeah.
So,
You brought a good point, and I have a question here about it's like about this, and I put us soon, but I will skip for the number 8 now, because, for example, Brandon was saying that he listen more podcasts and things like that, and me too. I really like to listen podcasts, especially when I am washing dishes. This is my favorite time to listen to podcasts. And I really like to watching videos on YouTube. I really appreciate some channels. And I want to know about the number 8. Watching videos on social media is more common than reading nowadays. Do you think the internet will make books disappear or not? Claudia, you first, please.
well, if it depends on me, no, the books no disappear because I love touch the book and they smell a new book. But to me, it's amazing. So I don't like to read books, reading on no, it's to me it is terrible. I can't pay attention. It is no good to me. So it is depend on me, no disappear. But I think all things is changed. Like you says, the people busy, work a lot. So I think it's interesting point, né? Use vídeos on social media. Like me, a few times, I start listening podcasts, and I love it. I love it because I can do many things like washing dishes, clean my house, and listen. But no substitute a good book. To me, no.
I have exactly the same perspective. I think books are so old, so old, and we have books here and nowadays. So I think books have your own space. I think it doesn't matter if the people will watching more videos or listen to podcasts more often, but books are important, and from my perspective will not disappear because I don't know, maybe, but from my perspective, I don't know. But at the same time, I'm seeing that the new generation doesn't like to read more. It's more important just to watching on social media, TikTok, Instagram, or things like that. Normally, we are using our time on this platform. So maybe it doesn't mean that the books will disappear, but I think it means that the people will use the time in a different way and to put more time inside of social media than reading books. I think that especially the new generation, I think. But this is my perspective. What is your perspective, Breno? Share with us.
I would say the books will always exist, but in a different way, because as we are we are going through new times, times are changing, and I believe that people are nowadays paying more attention to the environment. So we are already seeing some books that they are environmentally friendly, like nature friendly, that the papers were, from reciclagem, I don't know how to say that. So I would say that books will not disappear, but according to the marketing as well, because it's important to remember that, as you say, the new generation, if they put too much attention on the social media and on the electronics, we know that according to the marketing, the idea is that if you have more demand, so you have to produce more books to supply that demand. But if the demand is not that high, it's lower, so you will start to produce less books, because is there any, there is no much people to whom you're gonna to sell the books, So I would say that it's gonna be different in some countries, because in Brazil, for example, as we are talking about, Brazil is not a country that reads too much. There's this research that I cannot remember from where it's from, but it says that from 1 to 10 Brazilians, just one read a book once a month, for example, you know. And if you get the whole population, there is this percentage math that says that just 1 to 10 Brazilians read one book in a year. You know, they were trying to put us this graphics to see, and it's really sad because when you see other countries, it's a totally different scenario. And I would say that in England or in some other countries, this scenario will be different. I think that the libraries will stay full of books, but at the same time in Brazil, for example, we will see more often some libraries, you know, closing. Like, for example, the livraria, I just forgot the name of the livraria, Saraiva. The Saraiva closed in a lot of cities in Brazil, just because of that I'm talking to, you know, because people are not reading. And they try to survive. They're trying to put other products like games and, you know, different stuff, but it was not enough. So that's a situation that we are going to face in few years soon. But I cannot see books disappearing, you know. I would say that books will always exist, but in a different way of production.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I think we have other demands, for example, ebooks. So it's very common. I really love to read the books, but as like Claudia, I really like the the sensation to to the thought on the physical page. So it's different.
Just 1 minute.
But
I'll be right back, okay?
okay. And Claudia, I have a challenge for you. So what is the advantage and disadvantage about ebooks? What is the advantage and disadvantage for you?
Oh, advantages to me, it is hard because I don't like, né? But in general, I think the advantages is stay easy to get and read because you stay with your smartphone all the time. So I can read now. I have a little time now. I get and read. Okay. And it is, I think it's interesting. And you can, I don't know, because I don't use that. I don't know if you can access free too or on pay for it, like Kindle. Pay, né?
Kindle.
Kindle. It's free. Okay, I think it's interesting too, because if you have pay all the time, I think it is not. But I think you pay for it, but if you go buy a book, it is more expensive, né? Expensive, I think yes. So it is a advantage. The less price, and you can read all in qualquer lugar. Okay, but I think this disadvantage, it's like I like more stay with my book and touch, feel the smell. It's, to me, it's better. So disadvantage is like that. No get your book in your hands.
Yeah, I totally feel you, because I really like to receive my book, and it's different. The smell
Yeah.
is different, the sensation is different. So this is a Kindle. Advantage that I can see, it's easier to read, because here I have maybe, I don't know, but many books here, and
Mhm.
it's light, and I don't have the problem about the weight, and doesn't amassa. I don't know in English, but
Mhm.
it's very good. And normally the ebooks are more cheaper than physical books,
Yeah.
so other advantage. But I really like the smell. I really like the sensation. But nowadays my allergic, I don't know, but
Ah,
my rhinite
mhm.
doesn't allow that to feel the smell and things like that. So it's not good.
Old books
Yeah,
is not good.
it's a problem. It's a problem for me.
Yeah. É, it is a good point, good advantage, né? In a small smartphone, you have access to many different books, kind of books. Interesting. No
Yeah.
need put books, and you need give a space only for the books, né?
Hmm.
And the books, much powder, muita poeira. It is
Yeah.
interesting.
It's hard. And you, Breno, advantages and disadvantages about ebooks?
I love ebooks because, as you said, and I would add as well that you can read at night, depending on the model of the ebook you have. My ebook here is also a Kindle, so I can read at night. Doesn't matter where. It's also water resistant, so I can read close to the uh, pool, or I can go to the beach and read it whatever I want. So it's resistant. It's resistant. So papers, if you drop some glass of water on it, it's gone. And I would add that. But at the same time, I also like paper books, and I'm gonna show you now. That's why I skipped for a while, because I'd like to show you that kind of book that I really like. And that's why I would never stop buying physical books. It's because I really like encyclopedias, and I like this subject right here, World War II. So I bought this book
Great cover. Amazing.
few months ago, and you have so many, information, and then pictures and everything, and it's different because you cannot find that on uh, Kindle, for example. You have the Kindle, but you have some trouble to,
It's horrible
yeah,
too.
to see images and everything. And for example, I have this another encyclopedia here that is related to maps that I really like. I like geography and and everything about countries. So, for example, this one is about maps on World War II, and you can have the maps that the countries were fighting on World War II and everything. So it's an advantage that you can find on physical books that you cannot find on ebooks. So that's why I will stay buying those kinds of books. And I also have this book right here that it's the latest book I read. It's a book for children. Patrick Henry, Voice of the American Revolution. Why I'm showing you that book is because first, as I'm trying to learn more English, so it's good to have a level, of understanding. So I'm not gonna pick this World War II and read it in few weeks, because it takes a lot of time to to understand the words and everything. So this book right here, I got when I was driving with a friend in the countryside, and here in Canada, and I think in United States as well, we have these free libraries, which is a library on outdoors. For example, if you live in a neighborhood, so you can go out and then you will find this box built by someone. Then people put the books in there, because they just don't want to sell the books, or they just want to put on the trash. So they give it away to someone that is just going by, and then they see the book and they can get it for free. So it's a really nice.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting. You can get it for free. It's like I'm not sure if you remember that in Brazil you had this feiras, which you can get some books for free, and there's this fridge library, geladeira, livraria, que era menino que tinha uma geladeira que botou vários livros dentro.
I had one.
I remember that.
Yeah, so it's the same.
Start in São Paulo.
Yeah, it's the same mood, it's the same vibe of it. It's really nice.
Great. Claudia, would you like to add something or not? Because guys, I choose this question because I wanted to start this question. Let me see about the number 11. What is your opinion about ebook piracy? Because we don't have a lot of library here in Brazil. We don't have a money to pay a lot of books because the books is increasing the price every single day. And what's your opinion about ebook piracy? It's very easy to search on the internet and to read some books. So what is your opinion? Claudia, what's your opinion?
Ebook piracy. Breno quer answer?
Okay, no problem.
I go think about.
No problem. I think I have a book, a pirate book. It's I think you know that book, Nondas. It's the Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding by Arnold Schwarzenegger. The guy from Pumping Iron. So when I was at the gym, I started to read a lot about, educação física and etc. And then I got this book because I was trying to build some muscles. And my opinion about that is that it depends because, when it's so hard to talk about that because it's in the theory is always wrong what you are doing, But there are some books that I believe that there is no so offensive to get on the internet if it's already, available for free, or if it's easy to find and you want to see it. But I would say that it cannot be something normal, that you can do every time. So my point of view is I did that. I've downloaded some books, but few books, not, every time. I normally buy books on ebook, on Kindle, for example. But I don't judge people that download once a time or twice, I think it's acceptable, but it cannot turn, normal to you.
Yeah, I know use a book, né? Because I prefer book, but I don't know the quality is the same when the book piracy or like the CD. The CD piracy, it is not good. I remember the many CDs you buy and can't listen because the quality is terrible. A book is not the same. A book, the quality is the same when you pay for it.
Yeah, exactly the same. Normally not
Ah.
always, but normally the high quality. But
Ah,
it's a
ah,
very polemic question, I
yeah,
think.
yeah. Because if the people use the system to read more, I think is the
That is one thing that I don't do is to share books to everyone, like on WhatsApp, for example. If I got a book that I download myself and I read it, I don't, share to everyone. I don't think it's
yeah.
wise.
Yeah, guys, welcome aboard again. And I had a very pleasant conversation here in the main room, and I would like to know about you guys. I start from you, Flavia. How was for you the conversation? Do you like the topic? Share it with us, please.
Yes, it was so great. It was educational, and I write some books that the girls and sharing and the other room, and it was so great. I love it.
Great to know. Great to know. I'm very happy because of that. And you, Wanda, how was for you?
Yeah, it was a good subject for think about, for talk about, and it was a really good conversation. Yeah, I enjoy so much. Thank you.
Great. And I have a question for you. What's the importance about the cover of the book for you? The cover is important or not?
Yeah, it's important when I stay in a bookstore. I see the cover and I get curious and I open the book. If a cover is a little boring, I see and many books. The beautiful or the interesting cover is uh, take my attention.
Yeah, I totally agree. Sometimes I make some mistakes because of the cover. Normally, the cover attracts
Yeah.
me, but for often the book doesn't. I doesn't like the book, so the cover is important, really important, especially to buy. So,
Yeah.
and you, Gabi, how was for you? Do you like it?
I like it. Conversation was awesome. I participated for the first part, and the second part, I really like it too. The girls and Gabriel's not here anymore, but was awesome. The opinions, I really like it.
Great. So, guys, our time is running out. So I put the link on the chat. Please click on the link and share it as your opinion. If you recommend this conversation, let me know. Let me know about my job here. If you have some topic to suggest, feel free to share with me. And yeah, so that's it. So guys, I'm really proud about today topics and this conversation. I'm really content no, I'm really happy because of the content of this conversation. I really appreciate. So I want to thank you all and have a great week, have a great holiday, and see you in the next week. See ya. Have a great day. Take care.
Thank you.
See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.